Abby and Pat, back to you guys.
All right, Nick, thanks. We made light of this in the beginning of the 8, but we all go through this. Your most difficult conversations can actually be a lot easier than you realize.
Yeah, we've all been there. Joining us this morning with tips on how you can do that, Lou Diamond. He's author of the book Speak Easy, Connect with Every Conversation. So good morning, Lou. Tell us about this book.
Pat and Abby, thank you first of all for having me. And let's just start and ask you the question, where does every connection you've had in your life begin? Interestingly, if you think about it, it begins with a great conversation. But we all know that not every conversation is great. But what if it was? So as a podcaster, a speaker, and a coach for a long time in helping top sales performers have better conversations in all of their meetings, I've been working really hard to kind of decode what exactly makes a conversation great and what you need to do, and more importantly, how you need to be ahead of every conversation.
Okay, so what do you do? How do you start?
Okay, so one of the first things I do before everything is I actually try to connect my voice, connect your voice in this case, V-O-I-C-E. Let's start with that. V is to visualize. Visualize how you want that conversation to go. You know, you want to make a relationship, you want to have a conversation like yourselves, you want to learn, hey, how do we make conversations better? O is to appreciate the opportunity. If you go into any opportunity, if it's a job interview, a first date, and you appreciate the fact that you get to have a conversation, because we're in a pretty disconnected world and conversations that connect are rare. So appreciate the moment. That sense of appreciation for that opportunity is great. The I is to know the identity you need to be. Am I asking questions like you guys are asking me right now? Am I providing the expertise like I'm doing on this side? Know the role that you have to play in a conversation. And C and E is a lot of fun. You need to add your charisma, something really special about yourself that's unique, and energy. You got to lift the energy up because, Pat and Abby, nobody wants to connect with a dud.
Very good point. Okay, I like that. I like some of those things, especially knowing your identity in a conversation, knowing whether or not you need to maybe be the listener. Or do you need to be the person who drives
If you think about every conversation, it isn't just about speaking. It's knowing your role. In fact, actually, the best conversations start off, as you guys know very well, by asking great questions. Because if you ask great questions, you'll engage in conversations that lead you to the relationships that you want to engage with throughout your life.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is something you cover, Lou, but I always tell my kids this. Like every good job that I've ever been happy to get, the interview, like I did much less of the talking. You know what I mean? Like the interviewer told me about themselves, and you know, I always kind of, it seems counterintuitive, but I think that's a sign that an interview is going well if the other person's talking more than you are. Does that make sense?
They always say the one who's asking the questions is driving the conversation. But the one who's listening is the one who's leading the conversation, because you're taking in all that information and being able to spin it back in a way that's very specific to the person you're trying to connect with. Remember, the whole purpose of a conversation is to make the connection. So if we work on those things, and actually the way I love to say this is it's how you need to be. Do you need to be intentional? Do you need to raise the energy? Do you have to kind of add a little bit of nerve or a little bit of gumption maybe to get the conversation rolling? These are the things that we actually can practice and focus on before, during, and after every conversation so that it's more memorable and you're more likable and you become more connectable.
Wonderful advice.
Yeah.
Lou, I really appreciate that. I will
Well, you're welcome.
keep those tips in mind. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Lou Diamond, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Kathy.
Okay,